Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. On today's episode, we are talking about Bitcoin. Crypto, as some of you have picked up, is one of my favorite subjects. I just love the decentralization of it. I love that it's a deflationary asset, and obviously there's been a little bit of a dip lately based on kind of the uncertainty of the economy and inflation and some rules and regulations being set around this area. But I do love it. I just feel that crypto, not only Bitcoin but other altcoins, also just kind of put the power back into the people's hands and kind of gives you a little more control over it is more my opinion of kind of the decentralization. A lot of these DeFi banks where you can safely store your cryptocurrency are paying you a good amount of interest rate that you would never get at a bank. So it's like, why would you keep your money there when you can kind of go the DeFi route? So Bitcoin's had a lot of speculation around it. Some are saying it's going to hit 100,000. Some are saying it's going to get 250,000 a coin. And some are saying it's going to be $1 million a coin. And a lot of us look at the price tag right now and saying, well, how am I going to get one Bitcoin? You don't need one Bitcoin. You can go in and just put in what you can, maybe every month. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just telling you kind of my advice. But always make sure you diversify. Just like you do in the stock market, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to do the same thing with cryptocurrency. So I'm very excited for our guest today. She runs a digital currency podcast show for a company she's going to tell us about out in Connecticut, all about Bitcoin and educating and teaching people how they can get involved in this super exciting and changing times in our world. We now have our guest that's going to join us today on Next to Madison. I'm super excited. This is a girl that I've been doing comedy with for years in New York, and I just love her. She's so sweet and funny and just enthusiastic, and she has been on this new adventure of kind of being the one of the educators for Bitcoin beginners. You can watch her videos with Sasco Digital Assets on their channel. And so we are going to talk about Bitcoin. I'm sure we're going to throw in some dick jokes because that's what we do, but it's going to be great. So Keren,
Yes.
what is going on? How are you? Welcome.
So good. Thank you for having me on, Madison. This is my first time doing this.
I'm so excited to have you on. I've missed your face.
I missed you too. You peaced out. You're not in New York.
I know. I'll be back. Back.
Good.
I had to get out.
Yeah, but good for you. I mean, take your time, but I'm going to say New York is coming back, like hardcore.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I'm going to be back. And I'm going to be back with a vengeance. It's gonna
You're going to come back at the perfect time.
Exactly, right? I'm timing it perfectly. So let's talk about how you got involved in Bitcoin. Like, when did you get involved in it? Because everybody's got a story of how they got involved in it.
It's true, yeah. Everybody has this like meet cute with Bitcoin. I got into it back in like 2017. Because it was just a trending topic. Yeah, it was like, or 2016, 2017. It was just like, it was becoming a thing. It was becoming more, it was leaving like the extreme niche. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think before it was really for like just tech people and like nerdy people who knew about that stuff. And then it was slowly moving into a more mainstream thing. And like, I have friends with money and they were super into it. And like, we'd been discussing it endlessly. And I started like looking into it and just kind of got tripped out. Like, it's weird and cool and interesting. And I didn't know what the fuck it was. So, and as I was reading about it, I was like, this is wild. Like, more people should be talking about this. So I'd have all these like discussions or whatever. And then, and yeah, that was pretty much it. It was just like basically casual social interest.
So did you buy in 2017?
I did. I remember I was making more money then than I am now. I gave up like a more well-paying job that I didn't want to do for a less well-paying job that I do want to do. So at the time, I was like, let me put in a little money to have a little skin in the game. And also, so it means something to me when I see, you know, the price fluctuations or whatever, because it doesn't mean anything if you don't have any money in it. And I was like, let me put in $1,000. At that time, that was money I could stand to lose, right? Like if I lost that money, I'd be fine. And so I just like put it in there and just left it alone. And at its peak, like this past March or whatever, it was almost $7,000. It was almost a 700% return.
No, it was $64,000.
Yeah, but
Your
I
$1,000.
went up to like 68 or something like that. It was like, yeah, but I have, it's only 1,000. So
Oh,
whatever the ratio is or whatever, because I don't own a full Bitcoin, like not even close.
yeah.
But
Really
yeah,
cool.
it was really wild. If I'd sold at that peak and then bought in now, I'd be thousands of dollars richer.
I know, right?
But
Well,
I didn't because I'm not a day trader. I'm not like a trader like that. Like I really bought it to invest and to just hold it like kind of forever. So I'm probably never going to do that. But yeah, it was super exciting. Oh my God. I used to check it all the time. And yeah, it just helped me like see the cycles for myself and understand them. I think you can only read about it so much. Eventually just put a little bit of money in it and just see what happens.
I agree. Absolutely. And I mean, do you remember that Bitcoin center in the Lower East Side in New York?
No, what's that?
Did you ever meet a girl? She was doing comedy for a while. She's since quit, named Margot X.
No, I don't remember her.
Okay.
She's
So
not doing comedy anymore?
No.
Okay.
She's too rich to do comedy, basically.
I love that for her.
Yeah. So
Good for her.
she was running this thing. I think I was doing those shows in 2015, 2016, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she had gotten really involved in Bitcoin, but you went to this place it was called the Bitcoin Center. This place was the biggest shithole ever. I mean, it looks like the bathrooms hadn't been cleaned in like a year. There was like trash all over the place. And then we would do the shows like in the backyard if it was nice. It was just a dumpy, rundown place. But like they would come there, they had a Bitcoin ATM, and like the guys that were kind of involved in Bitcoin, they would just kind of come there, and it was cheap, and they just had the center where you could kind of go, and it was so bizarre. And she had been in Bitcoin since like the early stages, so she had gotten a lot, and I think she was getting paid in it. And then when Bitcoin hit,
she made a ton of money.
She made so much money. I think she's running like a skincare thing. I gotta reach out to her and find her. I'll also introduce her.
Rich. Yeah, good for her.
And she's like fucking crushing it. But I remember being like, why didn't I just buy it then? Maybe it scared me at first because I saw what the Bitcoin Center looked like, and I was like, oh hell no.
Well, and who can blame you, honestly? It's like walking into like a Church of Scientology and like walking right out and being like, never mind. But I feel like at that time too, Bitcoin was so new and it was so kind of wild. And the people who were into it were so fringe that of course you'd walk into like this shitty space. And now that it's become more mainstream, there's so much money in it. If there was something called a Bitcoin Center, it would be so nice. It would be like a high rise with windowed walls, super bougie, like, because there's it's mainstream, going mainstream, and there's so much money in it. And like that, you can't argue with that. It's like, if you're just following money and you don't even care about like looking into it or the fundamentals, like the trend is so obvious.
So I got to ask you, is Sasco Digital paying you in Bitcoin?
They're not. They're paying me in regular money. And I can just buy it if I want because they're smart.
I would request that. Well, here's the thing too. I think that's going to happen eventually down the road.
That people are going to get paid in Bitcoin?
What?
That people are going to get paid in Bitcoin?
Right. Comedy clubs. You go out and you do a spot. Let's say you do a spot at New York Comedy Club. You're just doing just a spot on a random night, right? So week pay is what, $25, $30. Mm-hmm. But you get it paid in Bitcoin. That's the value at that time. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great. I think that would actually be great for comics and not good for comedy clubs because Bitcoin is an appreciating asset class. Yeah. It's the best performing asset of the last decade plus. And if you're getting paid in Bitcoin, you're going to end up with more money than what you got paid as. And the club are gonna, they're gonna in retrospect have overpaid you. So I don't think I think that it's advantageous to the clubs to keep paying people in dollars, and that's what they're gonna keep doing.
I know, but I wonder if let's say you're a Bill Burr or Sebastian Maniscalco, and you can kind of demand what you want because you're that person. NFL players are now getting some of their salary in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I read about that.
I mean, if I go and headline a club, right? Like, and I'm a name, and they're going to give me 20 grand for the weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I want 20 grand. Well, all they have to do on the day they pay me is go buy 20 grand of Bitcoin and turn it around. So it doesn't affect them.
Well, the question would be, why can't they just be like, look, we don't like fuck with Bitcoin. We'll just give you the 20 grand and you can buy Bitcoin.
Well, that's a point too. But I think some people they just kind of forget.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Tom Brady's like just invested in some company or something, but he's getting some of his salary in Bitcoin.
Is that true? That's so funny. Yeah, look at everyone's hedging their bets. That's what everyone's hedging. So like I'm sure he's still getting paid normally too, but he's like, just in case.
Right.
This is the right way. He's rich enough to diversify in a meaningful way without really hurting his bottom line.
Oh, right, exactly. So tell us about Sasco Digital Assets.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's like a cool project. Do you remember John Fatigate from Stand Up New York?
I think so, yeah.
He was working upstairs in the media lab.
Oh yeah, when you were on Race Wars all the time. Right.
Yes, exactly. So it was back when we were doing Race Wars there. And John he's a producer. So he was producing a bunch of content for them, and he ended up producing these short little videos. I did one, my friend Bill Petit, I think you know Bill, also a comic, did one. And so we both did them. We got hired to do it, and it was supposed to be for like a web series, and just ended up going nowhere, as things do, and forgot about it. And then recently, a couple months ago, John called me up and was like, hey, I'm working for this company. It's a Bitcoin education platform they're also branching out into like product services for like self-custodying and like stuff like that. And he was like, they need a host for their content, and I showed them your video and they want to meet you. So I met them and we just like immediately hit it off. It was such good chemistry. I started working for them, and yeah, it's been like an absolute dream. It's such a good fit. They like kind of let me do what I want. And the platform itself right now, it's a startup. So we're getting everything off the ground, but the CEO is this genius expert in tech and finance. So he has a really strong crypto background. He's an engineer, so he reads the white papers, he reads the code, like he knows all of that stuff. I know the kind of more holistic big picture stuff. But if you want to get super technical and do like analysis and intelligence, he's the guy. And he's also like a great business guy. So I loved him right away. I like really believed in him. And Sasco Digital is interesting. So right now, as we get like the website going, and the services launched, and like, webinars and workshops and stuff up in the air right now, because we haven't launched those things yet, the offering is free content. So all this content's free. It's like podcast form, video form on YouTube. And some writing by our CEO, Omar, like puts it on LinkedIn and Facebook, stuff like that. So we're just producing content at this point. Nobody's pushing you to buy anything. We're not like, you don't have to do anything. There's literally no sell. The entire point right now is just to educate people. And then if people want, they can come to us later as like Bitcoin partner kind of things for more education services, like really high level, elite, like white label services where it's like, you can trust this. We've done the work for you. But right now it's all just content. So that's what I'm doing for them. It's been really, really fucking fun. It's a great company and they're doing something very original. I've never seen someone do that. The goal is to cut through the noise, because if you're following Bitcoin or you want to, it's so overwhelming. There's so much information. The stuff that's like current and up to date. If you don't know about Bitcoin, it's going to be impossible for you to follow it. You have to there's all this stuff you need to learn before. And I haven't really seen anybody making content that's like super high quality and really accessible for beginners that just cuts through the noise. No advertising, no hard sell, nothing. Like literally just presenting information, no panicking, nothing like that. So yeah, I really believe in it. I think it's a really, really great company with like a cool vision, doing cool stuff.
Yeah, because I've seen some of the videos and I was like, oh, this is really impressive. And that's when I reached out to you. I was like, you got to come on my show.
I'm so happy that you did. Yeah, I'm really happy there. It's like, it's such a fun job, man. They hired me as a comedian. Do you know what I mean? They were like, we want someone who like knows what they're doing, but who also knows about this. We don't have to like train you from zero. That's like kind of not the point. Like you already have to be into it. And so it was just such a perfect fit. I love it. Like, I'm not an expert, so it's a job for me. Like I have to do really good research and write, good copy and then deliver it in a way that makes like really good sense there can't be any errors or anything like that. Like everything has to be perfectly on point. It has to be like short and sweet. It's challenging, but it's not in like a good way. Do you know what I mean? It's like challenging in a good way. So I love it.
An example of a topic that you would do a video on?
Well, so we've done, I think the first one was what is Bitcoin? We just like did a really basic thing. Like if you don't even know what it is, you just start there. It's if they're meant for people who don't know anything about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Even if you do know something about Bitcoin, sometimes I can't like, I don't know, it's a kind of, they're like 3 to 5 minute videos. So it's like easy.
I love it.
But like what is Bitcoin? We did
Question. What is Bitcoin for people that they know about it, but they're like, what exactly is this besides this digital currency? How would you explain it?
Well, so it's a digital currency, but specifically a cryptocurrency. So it's only online, obviously. Like it was born online, so it's not like it was physical. And now there's like, it's not like a dollar where you can hold a dollar, but you can also just transact online and you never have to use a paper dollar. It's not like that. It's only online and on computers. And the other thing about it is that it's a limited supply, right? So unlike the dollar, it can't be printed. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever.
Yeah.
And also unlike the dollar, there's no central authority. So there's no government, there's no corporation, there's no central bank. It's all decentralized, and the decentralization is encoded into the protocol. It's encoded in there. So it's all, code, it's math. So Bitcoin kind of is decentralized and sort of self-executes and is as strong as its network. So the Bitcoin network, so instead of having a bank, the Bitcoin ledger is distributed across the network, and the network is people who use Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So it's really cool in that way. It's permissionless. It means anyone can join the network. You don't have to like apply for an account or whatever. I mean, you do if you're using an exchange, but for just the Bitcoin network, permissionless, decentralized. There's no one that can print money. There's no one that can charge you a fee. There's no one that can, devalue your currency in any way or, inflate the currency or anything like that. And it's trustless because it's decentralized. You don't have to put your trust in a government. You don't have to put your trust in a bank. Like who fucking trusts those institutions anyway? I'm not here to bash the government and the bank. We still need them. The government renders important services and debatably, right? But there's still a place for central banks for governing the economy, but there's always a tension with trust, right? You have to trust them and you have no choice. With Bitcoin, you don't have to trust anybody. The network is its own, the network is its own authority kind of thing. And it's also hyper secure because it's based on cryptography, right? So cryptography is how the military sends unbreakable codes. Mm-hmm. And so it's super, super secure. And it's also very elegant. The way that the network works, the way that the code is executed, it's to overwhelm the system and take it over would be impossible for somebody to do. So I know that was a lot, but basically to put it basically, it's a cryptocurrency, meaning it's a digital currency that's only online, decentralized, meaning the authority is with every individual who uses the network, instead of giving your authority to a central power to, decide who has how much money. And the supply is limited. So it appreciates over time instead of the dollar, which depreciates over time.
Deflationary, which is great because we are obviously moving very fast into inflation. It's already started with certain products. And
inflation has never gone anywhere. There's been inflation, your grandparents bought a can of Pepsi for a nickel or whatever. Well, here's the thing. Bitcoin also inflates. And that, I think this is a nuanced thing. So the dollar inflates, meaning it becomes more expensive. Bitcoin inflates, meaning it becomes more expensive, but the dollar depreciates, meaning its value goes down, and Bitcoin appreciates, meaning its value goes up. So it costs more money and it's more valuable. Your purchasing power with it goes up, whereas the dollar costs more over time and becomes less valuable.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, because it's part of the blockchain and it is secure and blockchain is supposed to be unhackable, but you still need to safely store your Bitcoin. So
ideally, yes, especially if you have real money on it.
Yeah. So what are some suggestions of ways to safely store Bitcoin?
Well, so ultimately you want to do what's called self-custodying. So if you were using a bank analogy, you can keep your money in the bank. We trust the banks now because they're FDIC insured and all of that. We have a central bank backing them up. Or if you wanted to quote unquote self-custody your money, you could pull all of your cash out and put it under your bed. And then no one's messing with your money.
Right.
It's not a great way to grow your money, but you have it, right? So Bitcoin's kind of like that too. it's not because there's an authority like a bank, but in order to buy Bitcoin, 99% of people are going to go through an exchange. And an exchange is like just, if you have a Robinhood account to buy stocks, it's just like that, but for crypto. Yeah. So the exchange is a company. Bitcoin's not a company. There's no PR, there's no corporation, there's no authority, but the exchanges are. So you would sign up for an account, buy whatever you want to buy. I don't have a ton of money in it yet because I haven't had a ton of money to put in it yet. Mm-hmm. And as I have more money, I will buy more. But for right now, keeping it on the exchange is okay. Ideally, you wouldn't want to do that. And because I'm involved in this, I'm like starting to transition away from it. So what you want to do, long story short, is you want to put it into what's called cold storage. Mm-hmm. Cold storage means you're putting it on a hardware device, like a hard drive basically, but this device is specifically optimized to store Bitcoin. So it has a specific function and this button and that button, whatever. And you would take your money off of the exchange. So something also to look for in an exchange is that you can take your crypto out of it. If you can't, you don't really own that cryptocurrency. You need to be able to take it off. So I use Coinbase. Coinbase is great. It's super secure. You would take it off of Coinbase, put it on your hard wallet into cold storage. Cold means it's not connected to the internet. It's just a hardware device. Mm-hmm. And the way to do that, it can be a little bit complicated. So, you have to set it up correctly. It's really important to set up correctly because you don't want to lose your Bitcoin. But once you've done that and you have your key, your private key, and you know how to store that safely, because you need to safeguard that with your life, kind of. Now you truly, truly own your Bitcoin. It's yours. No one can access it. There's just no possible way. So eventually you want to do that.
So, mm-hmm. And then there's this rise in decentralized banks, which I love. Like BlockFi is one of them. Mm-hmm. And they encourage people to move their crypto there because they're paying them interest on it. So BlockFi, I think the rates change, but I think BlockFi was about 5.2% on Ethereum, and then like maybe it was up to 6 at one point, 6% on Bitcoin. So that it was encouraging people to do that. It was like, oh, this is what the banks should be doing, but the banks are criminal. So you put some money in a bank and they pay you nothing. But these people pay you.
Yes.
You also put some of your cash in there into a stable coin, and then you get interest on that because they're lending, right? So it doesn't come without it's zero risk, but there's risk to leaving your house and walking across the street.
It's true. But what I like about Bitcoin is that it is relatively riskless. Relatively. Obviously, there's always a risk, and we're talking about trends looking backwards that we assume will continue. Obviously, we can't predict the future, or we can predict it, but we don't know the future. But I guess I have a little bit of hesitation when it comes to something like that, because I think if anybody else other than you has your currency, it doesn't really belong to you. And that's a little bit risky. If you have a real amount of money, just money that you don't want to lose, in cryptocurrency, I don't know that I would necessarily advise people to do that, because now you are allowing someone to bank for you with your cryptocurrency. And the point of crypto is that it's bankless, right? And so if you might as well just put your money in the bank. I mean, or, do your research. I'm not telling anybody what to do or not to do. I really am not qualified to give people financial advice. So nothing that I say is financial advice. It's really not. This is just sharing information.
Don't sue us.
I can't tell someone to buy or don't buy or sell. Like, that's on you. Do your research. Yeah. But I can tell you what I know and like what I would do. I don't think that I would do that. It's, in Bitcoin, I'm sure you've heard people say, not your key, not your Bitcoin. If you don't own your key, your private key, it's the same with an exchange. They hold your key for you. So technically, if we're being really technical, I don't really own my Bitcoin because I haven't moved it off of the exchange. Now, if we're not speaking technically, I do own it. Obviously, it's mine. It's on my account, but I wouldn't allow anyone to lend it out.
Okay, it's interesting. I know, because there's a risk to everything, right? You're paid a high interest rate for it, which is amazing.
Yeah,
it doesn't come without some sort of risk. I mean, I like BlockFi. I really believe in them. I actually would go work for them. I like what they're doing. I feel like they're paying people fairly. They're not taking advantage of them like Bank of America. Yes, I'm calling you out.
Bank of America's awful. Yes. They are like one of the worst.
Criminal. They're criminal. I think it's criminal that
I
they
think
take
that,
your money and
I
take
think you're
nothing.
you're pretty safe calling banks and politicians criminal. I don't look, I'm not, that was a joke about the banks, not about the politicians.
No, wasn't, because they're criminal.
But
I agree.
They do some shady shit, as do a lot of corporations. And because they have so much authority, there is built into having a lot of power and responsibility is abuse, obviously. So,
Yeah.
and that's a universal truth. That's not me just shitting on banks or whatever. So my thing with Bitcoin is it already provides an impressive return. So if you were to have bought Bitcoin, no one who has bought Bitcoin and held it for at least 3.5 years has ever lost money, ever in the history of Bitcoin. And so if you were to have bought Bitcoin 5 years ago and fallen into a coma and woke up today, you will have earned an average of 28% return per year. 28%.
That's phenomenal.
Now, I'm not saying that's going to continue forever, that's an indication of the future or whatever, but I'm saying that's the trend line, and that we have 13 years of history to back it up without any failure, an unbroken history that's only getting stronger. There's more liquidity, there's more money in it. It's becoming more and more stable price-wise. And so if you want to do a BlockFi thing, go right ahead. And if you don't, you're still, you're not really sacrificing a return for that.
You're right, because it goes up. And that's the thing too, is like when you talk about, cold storage, where you would take this key and stick it in a safety deposit bank, preferably, unfortunately, at a bank.
Ideally.
Not your house. But the difference between that, if you stuck $100,000 in physical currency and fiat dollars in there,
why would you do that?
It would be worth less than, it would be worth nothing. But at least here, you're enjoying the appreciation, even though it's off. So it's like a win-win situation.
It's a store of value. Yeah, it really is a great store of value. So if you have money that's just sitting around, I would encourage you to educate yourself on Bitcoin. I would say, I think Bitcoin's the most conservative investment. If you want to look into altcoins, do it. There's some cool ones. But if you're talking about conservatively investing, so not really fucking around, you just want to kind of put money in and walk away for a few years, Bitcoin, I think, is the soundest by a mile cryptocurrency that you can invest in. Yeah. And honestly, if your choice is between, because look, keeping your money in dollars is also an investment. It's just a depreciating investment.
Right. Exactly.
Right? So you have a choice. You can either keep your money in dollars, basically invest in the dollar for a guaranteed depreciation. You're going to guaranteed end up with less money than you started out with. Or you can try something like Bitcoin if you want, if you have the information, you feel good about doing that. That is not guaranteed, but strongly predicted to appreciate for a very long time.
I love it. Is there any other altcoins that you're interested in right now?
Yeah, I think Ethereum's interesting. I think like Ripple's interesting. There's a couple others. I haven't looked into them so heavily because I have been so engrossed.
Check out Cardano. Check out Cardano.
Cardano is another one. Yes, right. There's some cool things happening that are actually addressing real needs. Like they're not just bullshit. I mean, yes, there's the shit coins, right? Doge, which we can safely dismiss.
I will not.
Go anywhere. I would never ever in a million years put my money into that. It's a meme coin. Yeah. And I don't really feel like throwing my money down the toilet. I would just keep it in dollars if I was going to do that. So that's not for me at all. And I think remember when Elon Musk went on SNL and everybody was like, he's going to hype up Doge and then it's going to spike and I'm going to sell high, and it tanked literally the second he got on stage. People who bought it, people lost. I heard a story of one guy who wanted to commit suicide because he bought so much of it and it tanked. He put all this money into Doge, which is
oh shit.
I can't really blame him for being that suicidally depressed because he did that to himself. Look into these things, educate yourself. Don't just put money into stuff.
I know. And that's somebody had asked me before that episode had happened. And this is when Doge was kind of creeping up. I think it was right before SNL. And they said, do you think I should buy Dogecoin?
Yeah.
And I said, no, but that's my opinion.
Yes.
Somebody else might have a different opinion. I don't like to buy things that don't have a strong protocol behind them.
Yeah, me
I like to
neither.
buy things that I can see what their value is and I
Yes.
can believe in the product. This was started as a joke coin and it
Yes.
became known as the people's coin. So people, and then these billionaires were hyping it up because it was like a way for them to help the people.
But
So
it's not. They're hyping it up because it's a game for them and they don't have anything to lose. They don't. If they put a bunch of money into it and it tanked, it wouldn't matter to them. But if you or I did, it would matter to us. And so there's something a little bit shitty. There's something a little bit shitty about Elon Musk encouraging people to put money into Doge or whatever, like hyping it up like that, because he can afford to lose that. Other people can't. People who put real money into it, it's not a game to them.
Yeah, no, it's so true. But yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like definitely, when you, and this is kind of the rule of investing, is like, don't put your money into something you don't believe in.
Yes. And I mean, that's how I invest in stocks as well. Not that I have such a, massive investment portfolio, but if I do invest in something, it's because I like it and I use it.
Right. And you believe in the product.
And also I know where I fall in like the national demographic. Like I'm a very, look, I think I have some above average qualities, but as a member of society, I have pretty average cultural taste almost. I don't really know how to describe this, but it's like I'm a really good measure of what people in general are doing and thinking. I just am. I'm kind of in the middle of that. So like, if I've heard of a band, probably a lot of people know about a band. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's Shakespeare, I'm just not going to know about it. If I do know about it, I promise you millions of people know about it once it's reached me. And so why did I even start saying that? What did you just say? You said something interesting.
Oh, I just had a brain fart myself. I know we were talking about like Elon Musk.
Why did I even start saying that? What was my point? Wow, it was just such a long setup that I forgot the punch. All right.
I know. And I was like so into this, like, what is she going to say next?
Yeah.
Duh. What is she talking about? Okay, so, well, let's just, I want to know what your personal opinion is, because nobody knows
about
what the future of value of Bitcoin could be. I've heard analysts say 100. I've heard 250, and
anybody who's making those predictions is full of shit. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nope, and I can't even make a prediction. I mean, people are saying everybody's so full of shit. It's just all just clickbait. It's all clickbait. No one has any way of knowing. People, I get DMs at this point because I'm like, I'm the Bitcoin person. So I just like decided that. So now people are
DMing. That's what I know you as now.
Well, I love it. Like I love when people send me stuff, but it's people tell me the same thing again and again. They're like, this is carnage. What's happening now? This is such a shit show. And, I think I should sell, or, people ask me that, how high do you think it's going to go? I'm like, first of all, this is not carnage. This is a normal part of the cycle. People said the same fucking thing in 2017. This has happened over and over and over again. Everyone's just freaking out because they don't really understand what's going on. Learn about it a little bit and then don't sell. Just hold it. Fucking relax. It's not a shit show. It's normal. This is how this works. It's a new technology, so it's volatile.
I gotta be honest with you, I love crypto bloodbaths. I get off on it.
I like it. I buy on the
love it. I go shopping. You know what I mean? I'm not really into bags and shoes and that big shit anymore. I've got enough nice ones to last me for years.
Yes.
But I'm gonna start buying all my clothes at Target so I can start buying all my crypto. I'm telling you, I love it. So when we get a bloodbath, I never thought I would be like this. If the stock market was going down, I'd be like, oh shit. But I didn't really need that money right away. It was more like for long term. But now, like when crypto goes down, I get like so excited.
I do too. I'm like, it's on
sale. It's on
sale.
Limit order so I can get it even further on sale.
What do you use? What platform do you use?
So it depends on what coin I want to buy, because not all coins are available on all exchanges.
True. What about just for Bitcoin?
What for Bitcoin? I would use a Coinbase or a BlockFi.
Use Coinbase Pro to do the limit orders. Yeah.
They have lower fees than Coinbase, and if you're a Coinbase Pro.
Oh, got it. Okay.
A little trick. So what happens is most people go on Coinbase and they use Coinbase, but you can transfer everything over for free if you go and open up a Coinbase Pro account.
Okay.
You can transfer that into the exchange, or you can get it off. I don't leave anything on exchange, but you can get it off. But the fees are so much lower.
Really?
When you go into Coinbase Pro, it looks very daunting It looks like a computer screen at a financial firm at a hedge fund. If you'd walk in, there's all these charts and graphs.
Yes.
So it's overwhelming, where the other one looks like, oh, any basic person can do this. But if you just get past the bullshit of all the charts.
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple. I mean, if you can mobile bank, and if you can use like a Robinhood account or like a Charles Schwab account on your phone, you can put in a crypto order. It's literally the exact same thing. And
then Coinbase now offers Cardano.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one I'm in. But I was always using Binance. I know Binance isn't allowed in all states, but I opened the account when I was sitting in Colorado, so I was able to get through. Not out in New York. And
I don't think it is allowed in New York, yeah.
So I have one, because I have a different address right now.
Yeah.
So I would use Binance to do the Cardanos, but then once it sits, like you have like 10 days it has to sit.
Okay.
And then you rip it off.
Mm-hmm.
I would never leave my money, and no offense to the Binance people if they ever hear this. I mean, it'd be a miracle if they ever listen to this podcast. I don't trust them enough yet. I think that they could possibly disappear.
Why? Because they're Chinese?
Nope. Has nothing to do with that. I just think there's a lot of instability, and people that I've heard that work for different companies, like they get a lot of resumes from people just like, it's a shit show over here. They sometimes will freeze deposits for currencies, and you can't buy them. Yeah, they do it every now and then. It's a very strange.
What does that even mean?
So like if you're mining, let's say you're mining a currency, and then you want to go sell it on Binance, because that's where that coin that you're mining is available. You have to transfer it to the exchange in order to sell it, to transfer it to US dollars or buy something else. Sometimes they block the deposits coming in. So you won't be able to sell your coin.
Interesting.
And it's frustrating when that's the only exchange that has a coin.
So they must be trying to control the supply then. So they're playing little games.
They could be playing games. I'm not sure, but I just like it because it's just on my phone, and then I can rip it off to a staking wallet where I can just put it on there. But my risk is about 10 days because they usually hold it because they want to make their piece on it.
They do, yeah, right.
So I like that one, but I know, but it's a lot of these altcoins. But I do like Binance. But it's interesting that in New York. But if you had a New Jersey address, I think maybe. It's weird why they're banned.
I'll look into it. Yeah, I'll look into it a little bit. I mean, I know like Binance is a little controversial. I mean, so is TikTok. So whatever, take it with a grain of salt. But people are all weird because it's a Chinese company. But if they're doing business in the U.S., they have to abide by U.S. laws. Like it's not exactly the same as like investing like overseas in China. You're not doing that.
This is Binance U.S. So it's
right. It's Binance U.S. It's a different company, but not all the exchanges are the same. You're right. And if you're looking to buy crypto, you really do have to do like a little bit of research. I know everything's like research. It's actually not that hard. Yeah. It's not. And you really can, not to plug my own shit endlessly, but like you really can go over to the Sasco Digital Assets YouTube page and we address this. We have a video called How to Buy Crypto. We literally walk you through it step by step, break it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's super simple. We tell you what not to do. We don't think that you should buy on credit. We don't think that you should buy from Bitcoin ATM. We don't think that you should buy from PayPal because you can't take it off the exchange. So you don't really own it. Stuff like that. Because it is a little bit overwhelming.
So you buy, but that's weird, huh? If you buy from PayPal,
I would
have to keep it in PayPal?
I would never do that. Yes. You can't take it off the exchange. In my opinion, you don't own it.
So you sell it.
What's that?
So if I went in and bought 10,000 of Bitcoin on PayPal, until I sell out of that, it has to stay in PayPal?
Yes.
Oh, shit, do not do that.
And it also means you don't actually know for certain if you own that Bitcoin. Basically, what you're paying for then is an IOU because you can't take it off the exchange. So that Bitcoin might be there or it might not. You don't know. Now, I'm not shading PayPal as a company. I'm just saying you don't know. And if you don't know, that's already not good.
No, I agree. I was pulling into a gas station in this random part of town in Colorado. And I was just pulled in and there was, I'm not kidding you, like a cardboard poster board, like a pink poster board written on it in marker was buy Bitcoin here.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that, guys. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up. No pink signs with Sharpie on them. Don't trust that. There's so many scams. It's I wouldn't even call Bitcoin like unregulated. People, it's like the Wild West, it's unregulated. It's actually not. There's like regulations in place. Exchanges are regulated. They have a lot, they have standard practices and stuff. They're super secure, but you can't just put your money into anything that's fucking crazy. And I think Bitcoin feels so new and exciting that people are like, well, I'm going to do this new and exciting thing within this new and exciting thing. Like, pink cardboard with Sharpie. Why not? It's the Bitcoin way, but it's not the Bitcoin way. You have to like cool it down, take a second, go online, see what shit is. Sharpie, that's a huge red flag. I'm going to go ahead and say if anybody's advertising in Sharpie, that's just going to be an automatic no from me. But again, right? Financial advice, so do what you want. But yeah, doesn't take a genius to know that that's weird.
Yeah, it was like, this is so bizarre. I got to go back to that gas station because I got to research.
Take a picture. Did you take a picture?
No, but I will. And go
right
so back to the gas station.
Oh my God. Can you take a picture and then post it? And then I'm going to repost it because I think that's so funny.
Right. Do not buy Bitcoin here, hashtag.
Hashtag don't do it.
I was so shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
Yeah. I think what I want people to avoid is making the mistake of carelessness or over enthusiasm that leads to carelessness, because it's your money and it should be yours forever. There should never be a risk of anyone fucking with your cash. That's the point of Bitcoin. So like, I don't want anybody rushing into anything or putting their money somewhere that's not safe.
Well, I always tell people, like, I love cryptocurrency because I love what it stands for. I love the decentralization. Like, I just love it. But I always tell people when they're like, okay, so how should I buy this, blah, blah, blah. I always say the good rule of thumb with crypto right now is just whatever money you're going to put in crypto is the amount of money that you could accidentally throw into a fire pit and light on fire. And if you're okay with that, you're going to be able to hold longer, deal with the dips, deal with these, like it can't be money that you're willing to get out. So you should always diversify. Bitcoin's great. It's amazing. It's going up, but do not put all your money in it. It's just stupid.
Don't put all your money in it. Also, you're going to stress yourself the fuck out. It's going to keep you up at night. If you're putting up more money, then $1,000 for me at the time was not throwaway money, but it was money that I could stand to lose, and I could still pay my rent, could still pay my bills. Like I would be fine. So, I would be so stressed out if I had put more money than I could stand to lose in it. I'd be checking it all the time. I'd be worried. I'd be aging. Like I'm not trying to get no lines on my face from Bitcoin. Like, no, it's the opposite. I'm trying to de-age.
You need to make that Bitcoin money so you can do all the preventative measures. So we got to jump into that real quick off Bitcoin because we're talking about money and you need money to buy shit. You have using skin. So what is your skin that you use? Because I remember one time you told me I think we were upstairs at New York Comedy Club and you were like, I use night cream during the day. And I was like, what?
What did I say that I use?
You put on night cream during the day.
Okay, I no longer do that. That's a little crazy. My routine is pretty simple. I use this isn't going to be for everyone. This is for me. I'm a skincare like crazy person. I use a benzoyl peroxide face wash by CeraVe. It's a 4% benzoyl peroxide face wash. It's very conditioning to the skin. And then benzoyl peroxide, it's for acne, but I'm not using it for acne. It exfoliates the skin. And yes, it does. And actually, what I do is I wash my face in the morning with the Foreo, like, a little Foreo device, a little vibrating thing.
You like those?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It cleanses the skin without over drying it. It's really nice. I use that. I leave it on while I do my shower routines, like body, shave my legs, whatever. And then I rinse the whole thing off. And if you leave it on as like a mini mask, it'll exfoliate the skin just enough. And then I use an acid toner in the morning, followed by a vitamin C
acid
toner. Lotion P50 by Biologie Recherche. It's like a French company. You can look up suppliers to get it from. Rescue Spa is one. There's actually a spa. There's only select retailers. It's like very like bougie. Pixie makes a toner that you can buy at CVS called Glow Tonic. And that's okay too. That's like $15. The lotion P50 is like a little bit more expensive. So there's a budget option too.
Yeah.
But I use an acid toner followed by a vitamin C serum followed by sunscreen. But I'm crazy with sunscreen. I use two layers of sunscreen to start out to minimize any skip areas. So I'll do one layer, give it a sec, another layer, entire face, neck, and chest. And then I'll go over my face and neck with a tinted sunscreen to block blue light, because blue light leads to hyperpigmentation. So it really makes your skin like super even and nice over time to use the tinted sunscreen on top.
What kind of tinted sunscreen?
So I've tried so many tinted sunscreens, and the problem with them is that they are weird colors. So in my opinion, I'm pretty fair, so they're usually too dark for me and a little bit orangey or a little bit pinky. Like, I don't really like that. I like a golden color, and it has to be the right color. So Ilia is a cosmetic company, and they make an SPF 40 mineral tinted. I use it as a tinted sunscreen. It's like a skincare foundation, but I don't wear foundation. I wear sunscreen. So it's like a serum. They have all the colors you can imagine. It's such a beautiful, beautiful product. I would even recommend this to men. Like, this is a tinted sunscreen. It's such a good, so I love it. So I use a couple drops of that, and that's my last step in the morning. And then let that dry. Give it like 15, 20 minutes before you do makeup. Otherwise, you're going to kind of rub it off your skin. It needs to like really set before you're like going in with anything else. And then at night, I double cleanse. So I use a cleansing balm, squish everything off of my face and neck. Even if you don't wear makeup, you still have to do that because your face is full of skincare, sunscreen, pollution. You should still double cleanse. So use the cleansing balm, rinse that off, leave my face wet, go in with the CeraVe benzoyl peroxide face wash with the Foreo.
Okay.
Rinse that off. I don't tone at night because I really just use the toner for the acid in the morning. I don't need to do that at night. My face is already clean. And I use a copper peptide serum by a company called NCN Skincare. It's like this little boutique. This lady is like this cosmetic esthetician, and like she just like kind of knows her shit. I've been using their shit for years. It's a copper peptide serum, and then I use tretinoin.
Yeah.
Let that dry for a little bit. Then I follow that up with a night cream. I really like the one by CeraVe. Their cream, a cream, just like a basic unfragranced cream.
Yeah.
And then I follow that. This is the secret weapon. Okay.
Okay.
You need sunscreen, you need retinol, you need to cleanse your face properly. And then the secret to like plump, juicy skin is my very last step is I slather Vaseline all over my face and neck before I go to sleep. Straight up Vaseline. And it locks everything in, and I wake up with the juiciest, most beautiful skin.
What does your pillow look like?
What is my, it is a mess, man. I wash my pillows nonstop because I'm, obviously I'm a freak about skincare. And because I'm all like, slathered with oils and stuff, it's a mess.
Listen, it shows. I remember every time I see you, like, people always tell me like I have good skin, but then I see you and I'm like, holy shit. She's like a porcelain doll.
But I also like, I get stuff, I haven't really done like fillers yet. I've done my lips. I'm not against it. I 100% would. I think if you get the right doctor, it looks fucking amazing. Yeah. So I will at some point, but I just mean I do like micro needling treatments. I've done like Fraxel lasers, like stuff like that. You want to kind of like stay on it. Facials if you want. Like facials are a little gimmicky, but they're kind of nice. Stuff like that.
Listening to this are like, what the fuck? We just went from Bitcoin to skincare.
I know, but people who are into Bitcoin and skincare are going to be coming right now. They're going to love it. I also bought a microneedling pen from Amazon that I've been too scared to use. And I bought a numbing cream for it also. Like, it's a whole fucking process.
Careful with that one.
I know. I've done endless research into it.
Yeah, I got to introduce you to my girl in New York, Nurse Gigi. She's crazy. You like her.
How much does she charge, though? My people are so expensive. I had to give it a rest for a minute.
I don't know. I think it depends on the service. But
so I do my face and my neck, and that shit, first of all, it's expensive. Second of all, it fucking hurts, man. The neck, when they do that, so they don't they microneedle your face, meaning there's this like almost like a tattoo pen that kind of creates these tiny, tiny wounds in your face, and they juice it all up and whatever. Like, it stimulates the collagen. It does what a laser does, but it doesn't kind of manually. Yeah. But for the neck, they don't needle it. What they do is they like fill a syringe with like a serum, and then they inject your neck and it looks like you have 1,000 mosquito bites. It hurts like a motherfucker, I have to say. That is uncomfortable, but I do it for beauty, babe.
No pain, no gain is what they say.
Truer words have never been spoken. Beauty hurts. And if it's not, people are like, I don't like when it tingles, so I'm just not going to use it. I'm like, well, then it's not going to work. It hurts. Beauty hurts. Exactly. It's not supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, your skincare routine's not supposed to like wound you. Like if you're having a problem, you need to back off of it and just like moisturize and cleanse and call it a day. It's not supposed to like kill you. But yeah, if your acid toner stings a tiny bit, suck it up. It's supposed to. It's an acid. It's doing good things. Yeah. People are so pussy about skincare. They're like, ow. I'm like, well, do you want to be a goddess or not?
Exactly. Put in the time. That's
right. You do.
Okay, so before we wrap up, tell everybody where they can watch the Sasco Digital Assets again and find you.
Yeah, so you can just look it up on YouTube, Sasco Digital, SASCO Digital, Sasco Digital Assets. We have a really cute YouTube page up. It's got my little short, we call it Bitcoin bite-sized videos, like the short basic ones, even some not so basic ones. We have what is Bitcoin, but we also have is Bitcoin bad for the environment and how to buy Bitcoin, and we have some cool ones up. We have more in-depth interviews about those same topics with our CEO. He's super smart. If you just put it on and we're baking something or walking around, you would just get so much out of it. And Omar, our CEO, also does like higher level, like market analysis and intelligence videos if you want that. It's all really good content. I have to say it's some of the best Bitcoin content out there, and it's extremely trustworthy. It's like a really high level stuff. If you want, feel free to check it out. And then if you also want, I would actually love to get your feedback on it. And I want to know what you guys think or what you want to hear from, or if you love it or you hate it or whatever you think it is. You can hit me up on all my social, Keren Margolis, KerenMargolis. It's Keren with an E. So let's not fuck that up.
Yeah. Good. Well, this has been awesome. Well, thank you so much for educating us about Bitcoin. It's been a fun crypto conversation, and also skincare routine, which was that was selfishly for me.
I knew it. You just lost all the guys listening to this who are just like, I just wanted to see Madison. She's so fucking hot.
No. If the guys are listening, you need to listen to the skincare, and you should put it on repeat because you don't want to look like a construction worker.
You don't. For guys, I would say this: wash your face in the morning, wash your face at night. You don't have to worry about the double cleansing or whatever. Slap on a moisturizer at night, slap on a sunscreen in the morning. And honestly, that'll go such a long way because 90% of guys don't even do that. They just wash their face with like dish soap and an avocado and like call it a day.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, Keren, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with us. And
I'm so glad I got to talk to you. I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. I've missed you.
Isn't it crazy? I miss you too.
For everyone that's listening, I'm like, I miss her so much, but I can't see her. For all you listening at home or wherever you are, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.